Hello! In my last video, I went over the basics of using Adobe Illustrator to create vector art for a CNC laser. If you are new to Illustrator, you might want to watch that video first. This video is a guided modeling tutorial for making a ruler in Adobe Illustrator that we will engrave and cut out on the CNC laser when we're finished. So let's get started. To begin, I'm going to open up my blank laser template file that measures 24 by 18 inches, just like my laser bed. Then I'm going to click File and Save As and give this file a descriptive name that will be easy to find in the laser job queue later. Once my file has been renamed, I can start drawing my ruler. I'm going to zoom into the upper right corner of my sheet so I can see exactly what I'm doing. We're obviously going to need to draw all of the measurement lines on the ruler, but this is going to take a little bit of thought. We don't want to have to draw all of the lines for the entire ruler individually, because it would take way too long. So we're going to draw the lines for a single inch on the ruler, then copy that set of lines and paste them into the file again and again until we have 12 inches. We also need to be sure that our measurement lines are spaced an appropriate distance apart from one another. This means drawing 1/16 inch long spacer lines between our measurement lines to be sure we're setting them the right distance apart. We also want to draw our measurement lines at different lengths to make it easier to tell them apart when we are taking measurements. To do this, select the Line tool from the tool panel and click once on the sheet to start a line. The first line will be the 0 line, which we want to go straight down and to be 3/8 of an inch long. All of the full inch lines will also be this distance. So type into the Line Tool options box 3/8 of an inch for the length, then click Tab on your keyboard and type in 270 degrees for the angle to make the line go straight down, then click OK. Now with the Line tool still selected, hover over the top end of the 0 line until you see the little green anchor point. This tells you that if you click to place a line here, the end point of the line will be perfectly connected with the top of the 0 line. If you click to place your line without getting this anchor point first, the lines may not be connected, resulting in a small gap when engraving and an incorrect distance between measurement lines. With the green anchor point highlighted, click to place your first spacer line. Type into the options window 1/16 of an inch for the length and 0 for the angle, then click OK. Now you can use the end of this spacer line to draw the first 1/16 inch measurement line, and you can be sure the line is exactly 1/16 of an inch away from the 0. The measurement lines for the 1/16 inch measurements will all be the smallest lines on the ruler, and I'd like mine to be 1/8 of an inch long. So when I click on the end of the spacer line to draw my first measurement line, I type in 1/8 of an inch for the length and 270 degrees for the angle and click OK. Notice that you can either type in the fraction 1/8 of an inch to get 1/8, or you can type in the decimal equivalent 0.125. Illustrator understands both. The other 1/16 inch measurement marks will be the same length, including 3/16, 5/16, 7/16, 9/16, 11, 13, and 15/16. Draw another spacer line 1/16 of an inch away from the first measurement line. Then draw your next measurement line going straight down. This line will be used to measure 1/8 of an inch, so we want to make it a little bit longer than the lines we will be using for the 1/16 inch measurements. So draw this one at 3/16 of an inch long and 270 degrees. We will also be drawing other 1/8 inch marks at this length, including 3/8, 5/8, and 7/8 of an inch. The next longest line will mark the 1/4 inch increments, which we will draw 1/4 of an inch long, and the next longest line after that will be the 1/2 inch marks, which we will draw at 5/16 of an inch long. One line at a time, draw a 1/16 inch spacer between your measurement lines, then draw your measurement lines in at the correct length for the given measurement. I'm going to speed things up a bit until my first inch is complete. Once you get up to the 15/16 inch measurement mark, be sure to add one more 16th inch spacer line. Next, click the selection tool from the tool panel on the left and drag the selection box around all of the lines you've created. Click Ctrl-C on your keyboard to copy the selected lines, then Ctrl-V to paste a copy. Now drag the copy into place by bringing the top left corner node close to the last 1/16 inch space line you made in the first set of lines. When the green anchor snaps show you that the corners are connected, click off of the lines to deselect them, and inspect the lines to make sure everything is spaced correctly and looks right. That second inch is a lot easier to make than the first one. Click Ctrl-V again to add another inch, and drag it into position in the same manner as before. You can repeat this process 9 more times, or you can select all 3 inches and copy them 3 times to reach a full foot. When you get to the end, don't forget to add one more 3/8 inch line at the 12 inch mark. The next thing we need to do is to remove the spacer lines. We needed them to put our measurement lines in the right spot, but now we don't want them around anymore, or the laser will try to engrave or cut them. So with the selection tool selected, drag a box around all of your lines. Then, to deselect the measurement lines, hold the Shift key on your keyboard and drag another box that only touches the measurement lines, not the spacers. This should deselect the measurement lines, leaving only the spacer lines selected. Click the Delete key and the spacer lines should all be gone. Next, we will draw the rectangular box around the ruler that the laser will cut later. To do this, select the rectangle tool from the tool panel and click on the drawing to place the first corner. I prefer to line my top corner up with the tops of the measurement lines using the green anchor snaps to be sure the top edge of my rectangle meets them exactly. When the rectangle tool options window opens, type 12.25 inches for the width to give yourself a little extra room on each end past the measurement lines. Click the Tab key, then type 1.25 inches for the height of the rectangle, then click OK. Check to be sure everything looks right. You may need to use the selection tool to slide the rectangle to the left or right, and if you want to make very minor adjustments without accidentally sliding the rectangle up or down, use the left and right arrow keys on your keyboard. If the box is filled with a color, click the Shape Fill Color option in the top taskbar and select the red slash for no color. This will reveal your measurement marks underneath. We want to be sure that the laser cuts this line instead of engraving it. So with the rectangle selected, change the stroke to 0.001 inches and be sure the stroke color is black. Now we can use the text tool to add the measurement numbers. You can use the text options in the taskbar to manipulate the font size and shape, but it's a good idea to do this once for the first number, then copy and paste the text to get the rest of your numbers, so you can avoid changing the settings 13 times. Carefully position your numbers using the green anchor snaps to be sure that they're all the same level. The ruler is almost finished. As a final touch, personalize your ruler with your name, or logo, or company name, or a personal mantra. I'm going to personalize mine using the text tool. Take some time to get things looking just right. Remember that any lines set to 0.001 inches will be cut by the laser rather than engraved. I'd like my measurement lines to be a little bolder, so I'm going to select them all and change their stroke to 1 point. Now this file is ready for printing. Before configuring print settings, figure out exactly where on your sheet that you want to cut the ruler, and with all lines and text objects selected, reposition your ruler using the X and Y coordinate boxes in the top taskbar. I'd like to get the most possible rulers out of a sheet of material, and since my ruler is 12.25 inches long and my laser bed is only 24 inches wide, I can't place two side by side. I will get more out of a sheet if I orient the ruler vertically for cutting. With all of my objects selected, I can click Object, then Transform, and Rotate, and type in the angle 90 degrees to stand my ruler up vertically on the page. Now I could place many rulers side by side on the sheet and get more products with less material waste. When everything looks perfect, be sure to save your work, then click File and Print. Then make sure your laser is selected as the printer and click Setup and Preferences. To see how to configure your print settings for different materials and file types, watch my other video in this series titled Cutting Files on an Epilogue CNC Laser. Great work! Now you should have the basic skills for creating your own custom artwork for the CNC laser using Adobe Illustrator. Check out my other videos in this series for more info, and keep practicing to learn how to use new tools and get better at using the ones you know. Good luck, and thanks for watching.